we got to give the last section, our last section right here. We always give it to the guest, right? It's always handed over to the guest. Last week, the last time that you saw this, we did Landy's Corner. We're doing Keezy's Corner right now. Shout out to Keezy's Corner. Now, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, before I got on, we had this whole thing. I was like, yo, Keezy, this is what it's gonna be like. Then he was just like, nah, I got something for you. Like, he's like, nah, dead that. All right, so Keezy, what do you got, man? What do you got for me?
So I got questions for you. So if people
cool.
have watched my channel, and if you've watched Drink Champs, we're not drinking obviously, but they go through questions that are related to, they do it for music and whatever. But in our case, we'll do it for clothing. So you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Okay, so
I'm nervous a little bit because we didn't preview these. I was just like,
no, we didn't. No, that's the best part.
This is truly unscripted. Like, I don't know what's happening right now. I'm like, all right, let's go. If you asked
me, I wouldn't have told you anyway. So, anyways,
that was jacked up.
Okay, so the first one's probably easy or not. So Nike or Adidas?
Nike. Why did it take me so long?
I thought you were gonna go Adidas.
Why did it take me so long to say that? Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go Adidas.
I gotta go with Nike. I gotta go with Nike.
Dang. I thought you were gonna go Adidas because it's like your whole, like, not whole aesthetic, but like you like a lot of the Adidas sneakers for sure.
Like I like Y3. I do like some Adidas sneakers, but I got far more Nikes in my cache.
Okay. All right. Next question. LA or Tokyo?
Ooh. Ooh.
Whatever context you want to put together for that for yourself to answer it, LA or Tokyo.
Damn, I'ma go with Tokyo edges it out just by this much. Like this much.
Like,
I mean,
you live there, because you're there
not
now.
just because I live here. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the buck off to everything that I want in LA, I can get in Tokyo, but I can't get everything that I want in Tokyo in LA.
Wow, that's a very good. That was good. See, that's why I ask these questions.
Yeah, like that's probably the biggest. Everything that I want in LA, I can get, except like Doritos and Reese's Pieces, but I don't really eat them that much. I mean, Doritos, we got Doritos, but Reese's Pieces I can't get. So
yeah, okay,
good for the diet, I guess.
Fair enough. American food or Japanese food?
I'm gonna go. Well, it depends on what kind of American food. Are you talking about all of the Americas? Like, do I get to include Mexico in that?
However you think about that when I ask you that question.
American food. Like, bar none. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go with American food. I love Japanese food, don't get me wrong. I love yakiniku. I love okonomiyaki. I love, shabu shabu. I love sushi. I love Japanese food. But nothing beats Taco Tuesday. Like, nothing beats tacos, bro. I'm from California, man. Keezy, man, we need Latin food. So like, it's just,
it's just one of those. Like a mix of different. I mean, as much as that's not American food, but in America you can have like.
You got the Pan-American food. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like Tex-Mex ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm gonna go with. Plus, we make a mean burger in the United States, and Japan just can't keep up. So,
okay, all right, fair enough. English or Japanese?
Woo! This might seem surprising to people, but I'm gonna choose English. Okay. I'm not like a dummy uber fan of Japan is great everything. English is just a far more expressive language. Like, there's just so much things that I can do in English, like 5 different ways to say, yo, I'm about to do that. Right? Where in Japanese, it's like the same thing over. Like people think Japanese is hard, but Japanese is just a whole bunch of repetitive phrases over and over and over again. So like, as long as you understand kind of like the dialogue. Again, this is a homogenous country, so dialogue is going to be this. I'll say this last thing about Japanese. The reason why I pick English over Japanese is whenever you watch a movie, like an English movie, like say you're watching Spider-Man in Japanese and they got the Japanese subtitles, when you read the Japanese subtitles, they never kind of get the entire feeling of the scene, right? They never can do it. Like some of the times, like we'll just come up with stuff, right? Like in English, but we get it. But a Japanese person will be like, what the hell does that mean? Like when we do like, like you can't do that in Japanese and have it translate well. Like, but in English, it's just like, it is. Now they have their own things, but it's much easier to go from translating Japanese to English than it is from translating English to Japanese. So
interesting.
Yeah. Plus we have all our dialects, so it's just crazy.
Got it.
So yeah,
got it.
Definitely English.
Okay. Next question. Streetwear or designer? Which I know they've blended now, but
yeah. No, I'm going with designer.
Okay, all right.
The reason why I'm going with designer is because there's just far too many labels that I engage with that are designer rather than street. That doesn't mean that I disrespect street because that's where I come from. Yeah. Like okay, I'm a Yohji, Junya Watanabe, Jun Takahashi, Takahiro Miyashita, Chitose Abe, Helmut Lang, Hader Ackerman fan. I'm that dude. So like, I like that stuff. That doesn't mean that I exclusively buy that. It just means that I engage with that stuff, a little bit more than street. Yeah. Street used to be my thing, like all day. Like I used to be hundreds out.
Street is the reason why we're all here. If I were to just say that,
definitely. I still got street styles, and I'm wearing a New Era LA hat right now, of course, right? Yes.
There you go. There you go. And I know that there's a too big of a gray area at this point, but I mean, you can still choose between them.
And that's what I'm happy about. I'm happy for the gray area because if that didn't exist, I probably would disappear right in front of your eyes. I mean, I don't know what to do, right? Right? Like for all my talk about liking designer more, that just comes from my design background and what I was introduced to. I need street. Like I need it. Right. Like I need it because street is populous and casual and
easy.
Keep it casual. Right? Like
there you go.
Shout out to the casual.
Okay. Next question. Exclusive or accessible? If you had to choose,
I'm gonna go with accessible. I'm gonna go with accessible. Now, when I say accessible, I mean something a little bit different because I believe accessibility is important, but I also understand why you need exclusivity with certain labels. I don't think all labels should be exclusive, and I don't believe all labels should be accessible, but I believe in accessibility because I believe in discovery. I believe everybody needs access to should have access to any particular style that they want, but that's not always available to them. And at The Casual, we've always been about helping people find new brands and making them accessible. So I have to go with that way of accessibility, but not so much like everybody wearing the same stuff. I don't get down with that, but I do get down with having access to everything that's available to you. And so I have to definitely go. Like, if I were to say exclusive, that means that I'm okay with people just not telling me about something that I would want to know how to get that particular thing, right? And that's what that means. So I'd rather go with accessibility in that regard. That's a good question, though.
I did this with Paul. I said exclusive, but if I were really thinking about it, if this is a drinking game, I'd drink on this one because I think that you need both.
Yeah,
you need both.
You definitely need both, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
We should have made it a drinking game. It would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, we should have had something. It's okay now. It's all right. It's all right. So designer collabs or streetwear collabs?
Ooh. Designer streetwear collabs.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Hey, wait, hold on, you can't do that. You gotta choose. I'm gonna
go with streetwear collabs, man. That's where it starts. That's the birth of it.
Give me a second. Hold on.
Yeah, no doubt. See, look
I'm
at
on
that.
the phone right now. Okay, all right, bye.
Shout out to Keezy. Shout it out. Some people are gonna be so annoyed with that. I don't care. No, you guys are
So
gonna love it. I'm pretty
you
sure.
going designer collabs?
No, I'm going streetwear collabs, man. I'm going streetwear
Okay,
collabs.
cool.
Streetwear is where
Yeah.
it started, you know, where these collabs really live and where they can breathe and where there's a lot more there's just a lot more soul into it, if I could say. Like,
100%.
you know, it's just a lot
100%.
more, you know, just like two brands coming together and doing their thing for their community, or, you know, at least crossover communities. I love that. With luxury collabs, it's like only certain clientele get to be a part of that. Like, I wasn't a fan of Jordan Dior. Like, I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff because it basically pits like the elites against the plebs, and I just can't get down with that. Like, I'm just like, nah, man, streetwear collabs is where it's at. I don't care if they're limited or whatnot, but those are probably more influential in my book. More soul, definitely.
Yeah, I'd have to go streetwear collabs too. I think at times the designer ones are just a little bit too it feels a little too formula.
Yeah.
And it's not organic. You know what I mean?
I agree totally.
All right, next question. Yohji or Rick?
Oh, Yohji. I love Rick. Don't get me wrong. I love Rick Owens. I love Rick Owens, right? Rick Owens is dope. I love the fact that he I love brutalist design just in period. And I love, you know, the aesthetic, the color palette of Rick. I love the materials that he uses. Feels great to wear, but there's nothing like Yohji Yamamoto. Like, there's just nothing like it. My entire style is from that, right? Like, it's basically a hybrid of that. Is using and recently it's been getting way more in that camp, like strictly, like straight up full blown Yohji. If I didn't have street stuff in my closet, it would look like that. So I'm going with Yohji as much as I love Rick. I like Rick's shoes more, but I'm going with Yohji for sure.
I gotta ask this because I don't wear either, so I don't know as much information as you. Was that even a good mashup of a question? Because I was
no. That's a good question. That's a good question. Okay. That's fair because I think they don't necessarily occupy the same space necessarily.
Yeah, not really.
But they are off kilter enough for somebody to make a decision on either one. It's like, and a pretty good question would probably be like Comme des Garçons, like Mainline and Rick Owens. Like, that would be good too, because basically it just kind of like signifies like what you're more into rather than the other. Like, I like Rick. Like, somebody who likes Yohji Yamamoto probably appreciates Rick. Right? And somebody who appreciates Rick probably like, yeah, Yohji Yamamoto is that. So yeah, that's a good question.
It's like a Bape Supreme.
Yeah.
Like,
it
they're not
really
the same,
depends.
but they're kind of like
a Bape person ain't gonna not. Well, yeah, they will. But a Bape fan who understands street will look at Supreme like, yo, Supreme is doing it, right? Like, I ain't gonna even lie, right? I don't wear it, but it's there, right? And a Supreme fan will be like, yeah, man, that's Bape. It's Bape, right? Like, it's big time. That's why they're always being compared with each other. So it's a good enough. It's definitely like that. I agree.
So then to segue into our next question.
Okay, go ahead.
Nigo or James Jebbia? I look at his eye roll.
No, I think that's a good question because you're asking a person who's not just thinking about.
Because you're looking about the business side.
Yes.
You're looking at the business side. I know. This thing threw me off. That's why you chose Nike.
Yeah. I chose Nike mainly because I factored that in.
The business.
And now I'm factored in business. And if I were to factor in business, I would probably say James Jebbia. Like, period. Like, it's no question. I mean, the dude is that. But Nigo has a lot of chops. Like, so I'm going to go with who I enjoy more as an individual, like their body of work. And that's almost certainly going to go to Nigo. Like, it has to go to Nigo.
Bro, sound the horn, bro. Come on.
Yeah. Shout out to Nigo. Shout out to Human Made. Right? Cool. Like, shout out to Nigo. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm living in Tokyo. My first one of my couple first introductions to fashion was Bape. Like, come on now, like I didn't even know about Supreme. I knew about Bape before Supreme, right? That's
There you
crazy.
go,
Like that's all there is to
Yes.
it, you know. So, you know, I didn't even know Supreme existed when Bape was around. So, like, I have to go with Nigo. A lot of influence from there. Plus, Nigo and Pharrell are really good friends. I'm a really big Pharrell fan, so
the two superheroes,
yeah. So I gotta go with Nigo on this one. That's a good question.
I think if Bape and Supreme rose at the same time, it would even be a harder question because like the Supreme thing came a little later, and then also James, you know, sold it for $1 billion.
Yeah,
you know, and then also Nigo's like Bape died, and then like and then he sold it for like $2 million, and it was like, oh fuck, dude, like you didn't have the same chance, like you know, like could have sold for $1 billion.
Yeah, like my whole thing is that Bape, if we look at Supreme in its totality, yeah, it's these like bar none the most successful street brand ever to exist, right? But when I think of James Jebbia, I purely think of him in that regard as being a very savvy businessman who used this area of, you know, used this community and through a brand to create one of this most successful label. But when I think of Nigo, I think of the culture, because this is a dude who's just like strictly about it, like regardless. So you know, what do I put more cachet in is the question, the business or the culture? And if you were to ask me, I'm all like, there's no way that I'm gonna choose the business over the culture. Like I'm gonna choose the culture as much as important as everybody knows as I think the business is. The culture comes before. Without the culture, there is no business. And Nigo is probably the most influential individual when it comes to the business of streetwear. So there it is.
He's the GOAT. He's definitely the GOAT.